And so I think pretty much right now I'm just going to start doing these a couple times a week in the morning. That way the people over in Europe can get it at a reasonable time. This is just another continuation of what happened at Columbine, what happened at the World Federal Building, what happened at the World Trade Center. Okay? It's all the same thing. It's all to instill fear in you. And they're going to run this to the hilt. And they're going to say, people don't need guns. And then they're going to get into this kid's life. And it's going to be, well, you shouldn't do this. Or was he affiliated? Who are his friends? You know? And then it gets into, well, if you see something strange, report it right away. This is the same Nazi tactic that they used in World War II. And then they started giving out money to people that would rat on people. Okay? It's all about, on a certain level, about not trusting your neighbor. Okay, it's all about not trusting your neighbor, and then to sweeten the deal, we'll give you some money, you know, if you rat them out. So be sure that's where this is headed. You know, I'm going to say this again, and I'm not the first one to say it. Jordan Maxwell said it. He said the Nazis didn't lose; they relocated to the United States. Now, whether you like Jordan Maxwell or not, that if you've done any study on the Nazi Party, you know that that's true. Now, is this strictly Nazi? No, it's not. Is it strictly Masonic? No. There is a greater power behind that. The human body and the people that are involved in certain organizations are used to bring this into fruition, but it isn't them by themselves. And see, that's where the leap of belief between this reality and what you would call the Creator or Jesus Christ comes in. Because some people say, well, you know, it just happened because it was a crazy person. No, it isn't. This is being orchestrated by the things from the abyss that have linked up with humanity. There's a link there, and have got them to form these organizations to do things. All right. The governments were built to be torn down. The religions were built to be torn down. Sorry to be a little fly in your ointment, but that's the reality of life here. Everything that you've ever known is going to change, and there is no way to stop it. Currency, I'm pretty sure, is going to come to a screeching halt because they have to change everything you know about reality. But unfortunately, it's not going to be done through education. It's going to be done through violence, because they're going to turn up the heat so fucking high, you'll be willing to do anything to get them to turn it off. Okay, in alchemy, it's called the quickening. It's where you have a bunch of metals together, right? And let's say you have gold mixed in with tin and lead and all this other crap. And so what you got to do is you got to raise the heat, okay? And the metals will separate. And then they can take the good stuff, or what they consider to be the good stuff, and they separate it from the bad stuff. That's why it's called a quickening. And what you're seeing right now is a quickening. Okay, and it's going to get rough. I mean, I told you the reason the Bible calls it scripture is because it's a script. And it says if we did not shorten those days, then no flesh would survive. Okay, I don't know who these guys are talking, but I'm assuming they're not human beings. They're probably those of the abyss. Because what they're doing is they're creating a world for them now, here. And you are standing in their way. But instead of just destroying us all at once, there's a process to this, see? And so that's what's going on. And then on the news yesterday, you know, in Hawaii, all of these little purple little crabs coming out of the water. Well, isn't it interesting that I keep telling you guys that the purple represents the abyss? So now they got all these billions of little crabs coming out of the abyss. And scientists, at least what they're saying, are saying, well, we don't know what these things are, and we're going to save some of them to see how big they actually get. Okay, I don't know what they are. You know, the only crab I know are my first two wives. And now I'm looking at the TV, and guess what? Now President Obama's got to come on, and I'm sure he's going to give some kind of speech about disarming humanity because it's the best thing that we can do to preserve, but they'll keep their guns. You know, this whole, you know, people really get wrapped up in this FEMA stuff. And I do believe there's some merit to that. I think there's a very, very, very evil, dark agenda. Remember that shit that I did in those videos way back with the planking and the owling? You know, that fad that was going on you hear nothing about anymore? You know, the owling, that's how gargoyles sit. Planking is when you stack something. And so they had these people that would plank. Okay, well those weren't stupid fads. That was communication. That's stacking bodies. Oh, and by the way, those things that you see on the road that everybody keeps going, those are FEMA coffins. I got news for you. Go look at any World War II video about the Jews that died in the concentration camps. Okay? They never put any of them in a coffin. They dug a big ass hole, a bulldozer pushed the bodies in, and they pushed the dirt right over the top. Ta-da! There you go. Okay, so those aren't coffins. They're not going to waste their time. It's pointless for them to do that. They want you going and out of the way. So what happens is it's going to be a mass murder on this planet. People don't want to believe me, but I think whatever's behind this thing, you know, why is it that New York City wants to ban people from having more than 16 ounces of soda? Why do they want you to cut down on your salt intake? You know, it just seems to me that something's really interested in what the makeup of your blood is. And I'm not saying that they're vampires, blah, blah. I'm saying that there's something really weird that they want people's blood to react a certain way. I find it very interesting that they would tell you that you can't drink X amount of soda, and that Australia wants to boot up cigarettes to $100 a package. You know, smoke has a very, very odd effect on things. And I know from studying over years that in a lot of this, even in voodoo, that they'll use smoke to run spirits out. See, this is what the abyss is. They're spirits. And so smoking, you know, I mean, if you get a bar full of smoke, you know, it's not an area where they want to be, which was interesting. Why is alcohol called spirits? Well, I know the reason that they say, but I mean, common sense will tell you, when you drink alcohol, we've all been there, trust me, I have. Just about every time I got in any real trouble, I don't mean like going to prison, but got myself or made a fool of myself, alcohol was involved. Why? Because alcohol drops your inhibitions, and your inhibitions are the natural firewall, so to speak, to keep you acting normal within society. Once those drop, those things can get in you. Doesn't mean they possess you, but they can influence you, or if there's a better word. They can oppress you. They can get you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. And so that's what all of this is about, this whole go green thing. You know, it's go green for them. It ain't go green for you. You know, you don't get out of a jail free card and you don't pass go. You know, we're at the losing end of this thing. Yes, eventually the Father will come back and he'll put an end to it. But what you need to do is don't let this stuff drag your focus. They want you to look in a certain direction. Whatever they do, look the other way. Don't get focused in on this. Oh, this is terrible or whatever. Look the other way. And sooner or later, when these things show up and they're going to be in human form, and they're going to come and they're going to do things that are going to be absolutely wonderful, like maybe they'll cure cancer with you rubbing two leaves together and telling you, well, the answer was here all the time. And they'll show people things through simple physics that they could have done all the whole time. It's all to get you to believe in something that isn't true. All right? Sitting down and reading a book, as one dumbass on YouTube speaks of, ain't gonna do shit. You gotta use your head now. Reading a book about ancient Samaria ain't gonna do you any good right now. The time for doing that was fucking 50 years ago, or when you were a little kid. Sitting down and reading the Hebrew text will do you no good right now. If you understand that what you see on the news has already been planned out, it's not real in the fact that it just magically happened. If somebody ran in there and blasted all those people, and those people really are dead, I don't know, I find it very weird that there was a lot of 3s, 6s, and 9s in their added up ages, but whatever, that's just me. If it really did happen, just understand why it happened, because it's there to draw your attention and to scare you. Don't be afraid. This was put in motion long before any of us walked this planet. You know, I told you people before, you must get yourself right with the Father. If you want to do that, great. If you don't want to, and then I'm sure I'm going to get criticized. Well, he called a woman a cunt. I do it all the time, but only to selected people that deserve it, at least in my opinion. So yeah, go ahead, cruise story and look at it and understand the occultic implications. Okay? The occultic implications of, you know, the shooting after 12, and then, but then they make sure they let you know it was 6. You got to understand the combinations of these things, and you'll understand that this world is run by witchcraft. Period. Okay? And if you think it's run by anything else, you know, you're going to find out in the end that you have really been misconstrued. That's why it's up to you, and only you, to get yourself right with the Creator. The church ain't going to do it for you. The church is not going to do it for you. YouTube is not going to do it for you. People can help you out with what they think is going on, and that's all I'm doing here, is trying to let you know with the study that I've got what I think is going on, but it doesn't mean that I'm right. As I've said before, you know, before they tore down my page, I said it's theory and conjecture. Okay, I can't grab an evil spirit by the neck and hold it up, but I can show you plenty of pictures that will absolutely let you know that YouTube is full of those things. YouTube is full of those things, and I'll tell you another slick thing they do on there. People will befriend you, and eventually you will find out that those people aren't your friends at all. As a matter of fact, when you're dealing with specific individuals on there, when they stop talking to you, watch out, because now they're going to start talking about you. Okay? Most people are afraid to make videos because most people are afraid to speak in public. I never had a problem with that. You know why? Because they don't care what people think. If you don't care, then you take away their power. So I've got like 4 minutes left here. So I'm probably just going to end it. I'm going to start doing these a couple times a week. I may do one every morning, depending on the way the news goes. Just remember, this is all designed to mess with your head. As Alex Jones says, there's a war on for your mind. And as much as I don't like a lot of the stuff the guy said, he's right. They're trying to influence you. Okay? There's going to be bigger things than this happening, trust me. But just remember, just so you remember, the Columbine shooting was done by the black trench coat mafia. Okay? Okay, that's the whole Saturnalian color black authority. Okay, that was done exactly 13 years and 3 months to today. Okay, and what did they say about the gunman? Ooh, he came in and he was all dressed in black. And the Columbine is exactly 9 miles from the theater. And if you look on the theater, once again, if you followed my stuff, or you go to Travel on Snake's page, or you go to Letsgetfree page, you'll see those lines. Those lines are erratic, but they represent the abyss. And so I'm going to go ahead and end this for today, and I'll talk with you tomorrow.